underwater. People ask me, what's the secret of a relationship lasting that long? Well, first of all, don't expect much. You think somebody's going to make you happy. They make you miserable. They make you, but you're going to be as happy as you make up your mind to be. We dated for 6 years, about that. And we were living in Florida. I didn't know anybody. He was in the space program. We'd moved from here, graduated from MTSU, moved to Florida. Didn't have a friend, didn't have a job, cried all the time. And I was putting a letter in remember when people used to mail letters at an apartment complex into the post office, and the mailman was picking up the mail, and tears were just running down. He said, "Little lady, you don't look happy." And I'm not. I said, "My husband doesn't make me happy." This was a postman. He said, "I don't know you." He said, "But you're going to be as happy as you make up your mind to be." Y'all, it was like, I'd gone to church all my life. I knew the 10 Commandments were not just suggestions. I knew a lot of stuff. But my whole life changed, and I realized I'm going to be as happy as I make up my mind to be. There was a whole apartment complex of people there. I didn't know anybody. I started going door to door, knocking on doors. And Rita Davenport just looked at, going to have a little potluck Friday night. Come on over, bring a little dish. Do you realize how this connects to? Oh, thank you, Cheryl. How this connects to your business too. You're going to be as successful as you make up your mind to be. No matter what I say, you've had the greatest speakers. I've been sitting there and listening. Training is wonderful. And my gosh, you have so much training available. But this is a mind game. And I can't stand here today and do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and make you successful. There is nothing that I can say until you make up this decision yourself. And I did this. And I did this for you to set an example, because if I can do it, anybody in this room can do it. If you want it bad enough. The world steps aside for the person that knows where they're going. You either leave, follow, or get out of the way, but you have to decide. Today has to be life-changing. I cannot do this for you. I can tell you ways to make it easier and simpler. I can talk about determination and persistence, more powerful than talent or genius. But I decided as just a little kid, I was going to make a difference. And you know why that I wanted to make a difference? I had family that I felt, they ain't got much going for them. By that I mean, my daddy had a 6th grade education, could barely read and write. My mother didn't drive a car, had never worked outside the home, except I think May's Hosiery Mill for about 2 days. But, I looked around and I thought, I'm going to make something out of myself. That's where I want you to be. I want you to love your family enough and your friends to think, if God has given me my health, and I have determination, and I have the ability to, how can I face the people around me that might need what I could do with this business someday? And how are you going to explain to your maker, yeah, I heard about that company, yeah, I worked at that company, but yeah, I did. And God's going to say, but I gave you that awareness about a business. But you were scared that somebody would say no. Somebody says no to me. I had so many no's, y'all. I would just laugh. I would just say, you're not going to join my business? You're not going to use my product? And I would just belly laugh. Well, just go on off and wrinkle, heifer. And I would just belly laugh. I said, I'm going to be driving a Mercedes. You're going to want to go with me so you can show off being in a Mercedes. I'm going to go on trips. I'll send you a postcard. You're going to want to go with me. And you're not going to do, why are you not going to do this business? How could anybody anybody say no? How can anybody say? And the secret of you growing your business is sharing your business. If you are not sponsoring at least 6 people a month, you're not serious. I mean, I don't want to get in your face and go, I thought she's a nice lady. She's up there and just, getting me in a chokehold right now. But you're not. You don't think there's 6 people that you come in contact with, that you talk to, that you interface with, that you network with, that you know people that know people? You don't think? And the reason I know you can do it. Now, if that baby cries, my milk is going to come in. And Cheryl remembers when it happened one time. I can tell she had her baby right on the front row. And I said, Cheryl, and there it was. Only on one side. I mean, one side is confusing. We go back a long way, baby girl. I love you so much.
That is hilarious.
Hold the thought, because I'm going to tell you, I was just speaking with Tony Robbins, and I know I'm blatantly bragging, but y'all have heard of him, right? Yeah. Some of you have, some haven't. Anyway, and Sir Richard Branson, and it was just amazing because I was near the front and watching what he did, and what he did is for 3.5 hours, people jumped up and down to incite enthusiasm. And those that had a bladder problem had to cross their legs when they jumped up and down after an hour and a half, 2 hours. It kind of catches up with you after a while. And I was just fascinated. I thought, can I get their enthusiasm without them jumping up and down? Because I know somewhere in Braces the next day, people walking around, they couldn't hardly get to the elevator. You know what I'm saying? That would do that to you. But what always motivated me is I had a sister that had an 8th grade education. And she had attended some of my seminars and listened to my CDs. Of course, it was in tapes then, but listened. And I said, what'd you get out of them? She says, well, I visualize like you taught, your vision is so important. And it's talked about all in the Bible, how powerful vision is. And she said, what's your vision? She said, being around piles of money. And I said, wow, I never thought about that before. Yeah, like Scrooge McDuck, where it's all stacked up. And some of you are way too young to know who Scrooge McDuck is, but that's okay. Others know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Piles of money, throw it up in the air. And she later got a job working at JCPenney's in the accounting department, and her job was counting money. And I went to take her to lunch, and she was in this enclosed area, and there were stacks of money. And I said, you did what you visualized. She said, what? I said, you visualized being around piles of money. She said, this isn't my money. I said, rethink it. Rethink it as if it is your piles of money. And you talk about dragging somebody across the finish line because she kept saying, I'm overweight, I wear big, thick glasses, I have space between my teeth, I have no designer clothes, I have an 8th grade education, I have some health issues. Why do you keep on saying you can do this business? I says, you know what? If you think you're having a bad day, try missing a few and you see how good this one is. Because any day above ground is a good day. And so how dare you, if you have life in you, how dare you not do the business for what could happen? Because I have every time I love my notes because they entertain me, that you can't see them and you don't know how much I enjoy these. But I have a note up here that I've talked about a speech called Prepare for Impact. And this was about Captain Sully and when he landed on the Hudson. Captain Sully said to the crew and passengers, brace for impact before they hit the Hudson. I modified that, editorialized it a little bit, and I said, prepare for impact. So all my life, I prepared for impact to make sure I could provide for my family. If you knew right now that your child's life depended on you sponsoring 6 people a month, would you have any trouble doing that? Really? How many of you sponsor 6 people every month since you've been into Arbonne? Oh, okay. Just thought I could ask. Because you've never had that kind of threat in your life, have you? Up till now. What Captain Sully did, Captain Sully said, brace for impact. You see, he had prepared for impact all of his life. If you saw the movie, he was a glider pilot, first of all. Did you know that? He taught aeronautical safety. He prepared all of his life for a time such as that. And right now, you've got amazing ability to do so much because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if your husband's going to have open heart surgery, as my sister's husband did twice, and he was totally disabled, and they certainly couldn't live on their JCPenney's minimum wage income. But she had a backup because she had a sister that had nagged on her forever. And then when I kept telling her about this awesome opportunity and what it could do for her, and she gave me all those excuses, and I said, but you know what? You haven't even ever put your whole self into something like this. Y'all, this doesn't work unless you put your whole self into it. Not forever. You're going to have a chance to have a break. I said, but you've never tried this. And then, remember this. Every whale knows a minnow, and every minnow knows a whale. In my sister's mind, she was a minnow in the business world. But she knew a whale. She knew a person that was in 32 million homes in television. She knew a person that spoke 100 times a year. She knew a person that had written best-selling books. She knew all these people that knew this person. And my sister said when she joined this business, well, if it's good enough for me, how come you haven't joined it, have you? That's emotional, sweet talk between sisters, you know, in the South. You know how it is. And I didn't have an answer. I had no comeback. Like, I'm busy. And in fact, at the time, I remember I had like 14 speeches scheduled for the network marketing industry. How am I going to, do something like that? And she said, good enough for me. Let me see what you could do. So my sister sponsored me in the business. How many of you have not asked somebody to join the business because of their professional position, that would be beneath them? No one ever is above being invited into this business, and no one is below being invited into this business. I have sponsored security people that work in the room. I have sponsored housekeeping. Not that they're honorable positions. These people are working, and that's the reason you don't ever leave a hotel without tipping housekeeping. Amen. Never. And then they're just buzzing about Arbonne. I don't know about this Arbonne thing, because those are hungry people. Those are people that are looking for recognition. There are people that need the income, that need this opportunity to grow and develop. That's what this is about. This is a personal development business. It's disguised as personal care, but it's personal development. Everybody you come in contact with, there's nobody you can say, oh, that wouldn't be good. You don't know who's going to be good. We have no litmus test to say, oh yeah, that one, look at that. That just lit up my camera right here. I can see that one's going to make it. How many of you sponsor people you just knew they were going to do it? And they didn't do jack. Absolutely didn't do anything. And then you get some, you don't have a test. What you have to do is you have to load the bases. And you have to encourage them. You have to brag on them. You have to make them feel good. When they're around you, they feel good about themselves. They want to do what you're doing. Because look at the difference you're making. You want to live your life not just to make a living. I can make a living doing housekeeping. I can make a living, whatever, JCPenney's minimum wage jobs. I can make not a living, but I could earn a little money. But what you want to do is get a glory out of what you do. See, at the end of your life, you hear your life passes before you. What really passes before you are all the occasions when you could have done something and you didn't. That's what you're going to relive.